Well, hello. Seems like there's a little bit of a delay, but I am excited. This is my first stream, and just wanted to go ahead and talk to whoever may be out there. I'm coming in. Looks like you got a viewer, which is awesome. My name is Isaac Ramos. I am an artist, and I do freelance animation. I do all sorts of things. Father, husband, many things. And I am taking some time to draw my MerMay sketch. Just wanted to start this little series at some point, hoping to be able to interview artists, people that I have connections with in the industry, and tons of other people that I just like on Instagram that I follow. All that good stuff. So I'm really excited to be tackling this. Today is the prompt for tomorrow. I am going to be using. It's going to be old money, which is exciting. I have an idea here, so I'm just going to start kind of roughing out. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Gonna see what we can do here. But, otherwise, just kind of chatting a little bit about me, a little bit about who I am, what I'm doing, where I'm going. Some things that I have had the opportunity to work on. I'm a freelance animator, so I don't normally do character stuff, but I love character stuff. I had gone to animation school for animation and visual effects, and ended up transferring. Felt like I wanted to do something else. I'm a Christian, felt like I was called to do something else, so I transferred to a Christian school and got a degree in youth and family ministry, and then never did that. Seems like that can be a little bit of a common theme with people. It's totally okay. So when I was 21, actually I was still in animation school, met my wife on eHarmony, and long story short, we did not end up dating. We just, kind of went our separate ways for a little bit. We were not ready to be together, and that was not good timing on our part for us to know each other, see each other. She had just come out of a long relationship. I was looking for one, but I was super busy with animation school at the time. We ended up dating other people, seeing other people, all that stuff, and it was not time, like I said. So fast forward a couple years, she reaches out to me. We start dating, and we'd known each other off and on for a couple years, but really didn't have a whole lot that we were looking for in the meantime. She would want to date me. Took a while for me to want to date her. She'd kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But we were also super long distance. She was in Michigan, I was in New Mexico. And then I moved to Texas, transferred programs, went to school to be a youth pastor, all that stuff. She got diagnosed. She developed chronic migraine, and that was super hard for us. Not something that we'd ever intended or planned on, which I don't think anybody ever does. I don't plan to get sick, don't plan to have a hard life, or things that are just going to be difficult. Like, nobody wants that, but that's where we found ourselves. We'd been together for less than 6 months, and she got sick. Didn't really have anything going for her, going for us. So it sucked. It really sucked. We really wanted to do a lot. We wanted to pay off our debt in, like a year and a half or so, which we were planning to do. One of us would put our income towards living expenses. The other one of us would be paying off our debt with whatever salary we had, whatever salary we were drawing. And we were super excited to be able to do that. But she stopped being able to work. And so we didn't have a whole lot there. So yeah, we very quickly just became, survival mode people. Not that we ever wanted to be, never planned to be. But that's where we found ourselves, and you kind of just do what you have to do. Right after we got married, we went to live with my in-laws, where ironically we are now again, but more on that in just a bit. And came to find out that it's not ideal living with family right after you get married. I love my in-laws. Super, super grateful for them. Honestly, very glad to have the opportunity to be with them, and that they're gracious enough to have us live with them. But again, more on that in a bit. We moved to Utah as soon as we could, right after we got a diagnosis from my wife, found out she had Lyme disease. Actually, we didn't know quite yet that she had Lyme disease at that point. She had been diagnosed with Babesia, which is a co-infection with Lyme, but the doctor that had diagnosed her with that didn't think that she had Lyme at the time. Found out later she did. But we moved to Utah. Utah was great. We loved being in Utah. Super, super great for adventurous people. We thought we were adventurous people, but then we moved to Utah, found out we're nowhere close to the kind of adventurous that a lot of other people are. So, was working there, trying to still pursue dreams, pursue an animation career, pursue this, that, and the other, and all the while providing for a sick wife. And she's just trying her best to make it by, and she ended up getting a job before I did. She worked like 12 hours a week, something like that. It was not very much at all. But yeah, she was doing what she could, and I was doing what I could. It took me forever to find a job as a what did I do? What was I doing then? Sorry, it kind of can be difficult to draw and talk at the same time. But yeah, so I very quickly, I took a while to find a job just working as a cash register guy at a Sizzler. And that was not at all a glorious job. But I did it because I had to. And I'd draw constantly. I would draw constantly. Still love drawing. But it was hard because we couldn't necessarily pursue the dreams that we wanted to be pursuing. I was thinking that would be the best opportunity for me to be close to somewhere that had opportunities for me, and wasn't as much as what I thought it would be. Anywho, I found a job doing being a teacher. I started teaching. That was hard. I taught fourth grade. Did not have an education background. My family, come from a bunch of teachers with my family. But yeah, otherwise, I didn't have necessarily a desire to be teaching in animation or teaching in public schools. A lot of it because I knew what that entailed with just what my family shared with me and what I knew they went through. Because being a teacher is not easy. No, it is not. So I did that for 2 years, and it was exhausting. I was good at it, and I did the best that I could, always. But we got sucked into an MLM, and let me tell you, that was stupid. But I didn't know anything about MLMs. Utah is the land of MLMs, and I wish that that's something that I would have known beforehand. Absolutely awful things there. So I just wanted to, get up and be rich and have all the time and all the money, and I wanted to be able to do a lot of the things that they promised, which is, that's the only reason that somebody would get into one of those, is because they're loaded with promises. And I think the harder your circumstances are, I think the more likely you are to, grab onto that little glimmer of hope that a lot of people promise when they're going for prospects, And I don't necessarily fault people for that, but it's a pretty disgusting practice, I guess. Disgusting business. Sinks its teeth into you, and it does not want to let go ever. So I did that for 4 years. It's a long time to have been sucked into that crap. But again, long story short, it was something that we saw was not working after 4 years. My wife saw it much sooner than I did, but there's something about the hold that MLMs have on you, especially when you want to be providing, and there's a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, and again, just really nasty, yucky things that they suck you into. So I got out of that. It was actually pretty fresh, relatively recent for us. We got out last July, I think it was. And life has been so good since. Not necessarily like that a ton of our circumstances have changed, but being out of that sort of environment, like constantly giving myself grief and flack and, shaming myself for what I wasn't able to accomplish in a system that doesn't want you necessarily to accomplish those things. It's not meant for every person to be successful, and the people at the top know that. So if you're listening and you're thinking about getting into one of those things, please don't. It is not meant to work for you. So there's my little spiel on that. But anywho, last several months, we moved to Texas. We were excited about being in Texas. My family lives in Texas. But we moved there, and things did not work out for us the way that we had hoped or expected that they would. And, we just kind of carried on, decided, hey, if this isn't what is working out for us, then we need to kind of figure out what that is. And for us, it was a big faith thing. And, we prayed about it, put it up, and just, trusted that, if God wants us to be doing something else, then maybe it's time we listen. And for us, that was a big deal. That was really hard. Even considering the fact that, I was trained as a youth pastor and, trained as somebody to consider, contemplate, and know how to work through these things in a spiritual way. It was still hard because I still had these plans. I wanted to go and do art. I wanted to go and do this or that. But we found ourselves feeling very called to a ministry called Club Beyond. And, we eventually accepted a position with them, and we will be moving to Germany, which is super cool. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be really awesome. And I'm super thankful that I'm going to have the opportunity to work with kids the way that I will be able to, and just very much take that as an opportunity to learn more about Germany, to learn more, doing all sorts of things. So it's going to be great. It's going to be really awesome. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Just trying to make sure that I have everything set up for streams at the moment. Oh. This is my first time streaming, so it is very different for me. But yeah, so there was a lot of things that, we could have done differently in our life or gone about in different ways or whatever. But, particularly with the way that we believe, we believe that God is good. God's doing all kinds of different things. I'm just gonna start living my life, being faithful to what I believe, and being kind to others, being loving to others, sharing with others, and then at the same time, not denying this part of who I am, because I have for a very long time. A lot of that was due to the Amway thing with the MLMs, and I put this off for long enough, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm pursuing a little bit more with, exposing my art to the world and sharing with the world. So if you're watching, again, thank you, and I hope that you find this as entertaining as I do. I absolutely love art. I got to meet Tom Bancroft, who started MerMay, and really, kind of become friends with him. As much as you can when you're at a distance and not necessarily working together and such. But I supported he and Tony's podcast, and through that had a lot of really cool opportunities. Had the opportunity to meet and know both of them. I've had the opportunity to meet Glenn Keane, who's absolutely incredible artist and I would say a Disney legend. And I know I'm sure a lot of people would as well. Not sure I love the pose, but that's what we're working on, is growing and developing, changing, all good stuff. So let's see. I'm gonna take that way down. What if yeah, I like that idea better. We're gonna see. I'm gonna get my roughs in here. I think I am going to do an octopus on a bed of gold, because again, the prompt is old money. So do this on a bed of gold. With some barrels of oil. Let's actually do it like this. So this is going to be a fat squid man. Try not to make it look too much like Ursula. I don't want to be... I want this to be original. All right. A lot of my mermaids for MerMay have been more humanoid fish rather than, I guess, the more traditional or Disney idea of mermaids. I'm going to try this one out. This one is going to be fat and happy squid. Maybe this is a fitting one to talk about Amway a little bit. Which is kind of funny, just the prompt and the topic is... I was planning to talk already about our story, but was not thinking about it in the terms of the prompt, which is, I don't know, just kind of a funny thing to me. But yeah, so we're excited about Germany. We're excited to have kind of a new start on things. And really just be looking forward to living our life, because we felt like sickness has been holding us back, and we felt like Amway held us back, and lots and lots of different things, really. So if there's any encouragement that I can give to anyone else, is to let yourself pursue your dreams. Do what you have to financially support yourself and your family and everything like that, but do what you can. Don't try not to deny yourself, because that just ends up making you a little bit hollow. Might be a good word. Shell. It's not great, and it's not ideal to leave yourself hanging like that. You need to take care of you. And especially, living with health stuff, it can be draining. It can be lonely. We've had a lot of people choose not to really engage with us much as friends, because honestly, it can be tough to have friends who deal with sickness. But the friends that we have made and kept through all of that, have been some of the best friends we've ever had. I really believe, I'm one of the best friends that someone can have. I'm a great friend to people that I'm friends with. And I want to be. I want to be that accountable, friendly person that somebody knows that they can turn to. But I also want that from somebody else as well. I would love to have a friend to me as good as I am to somebody else. I hope that doesn't sound bad. But if you go, you know. Yeah, otherwise, just kind of a simple, normal guy pursuing dreams and wanting to live the best possible life I can. Some interesting facts about me. I am an athlete. I love sports. Not watching sports so much. I'm not a sports fanatic. Not sure what kind of nose I want on this guy. But in high school, I did all the sports. I was a 2-time pole vault champion. Pole vault state champion in New Mexico for a 2A school. Not super competitive, but I took the title, and I will keep it. Now I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this style, because I could take it more cartoony, but even just the layout of it itself is already it's already not lending itself to a cartoony take. But yeah, so played football. I was supposed to be quarterback, but decided that I was done. I was supposed to be varsity quarterback my senior year. My junior year. But I was no longer interested in that, so I quit football. Nobody on the team cared very much, and I didn't want to be the one caring the most if I wasn't going to have a team to back me up. So I called it there and just sort of left it be. Ended up picking up a lot more video games. Wish I would have picked up a lot more art, but what obviously was not the case. I loved drawing in high school, but I wasn't super into it. I would draw when I could. Take a moment and do a quick sketch, but I honestly got frustrated a lot. Had some good, decent natural talent, but didn't carry it through. Didn't see it through. Didn't feed that talent. Didn't feed that natural gift, I guess. And let's see, he's gonna have his hand up, and let's see. He's gonna just be admiring a coin. Yeah, looks like I have one viewer on Twitch. How you doing? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's a bot. Not sure I have anybody on YouTube. I try to draw loose, not necessarily sloppy, though it can definitely come across as such. Let's see if I can draw coattails out here. Kind of looks like the Monopoly guy. The Monopoly guy. Oh, other fun facts about me. I was just recently, as in this week, diagnosed with ADHD. It's a fun thing. I say that sarcastically, of course. Would have been super nice to know about much earlier in life. I am 31 years old. I have a 2-year-old. Well, he'll be 3 in, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Oh my gosh. That's wild. Mainly because I still feel like a child. Not sure if anybody can relate. Not sure how they let us walk out of there with a kid. They didn't even give us an instruction manual. Some other things. I do voiceover when I can. Now I would define voiceover as reading scripts for customers, clients, not necessarily in character voices. So a lot of times somebody will get my voice for voiceover. Just I am the character. But I can do some voices should somebody need it. And possibly this might be the voice of Mr. Oil Squid. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is Isaac Ramos Art. ISAAC RAMOS. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to try and take this to ink. Grab my ink and brush. This is where I'm going to have to make some calls. Okay, let's go ahead and lock those so I don't touch them. Actually, let's go ahead and put some pressure sensitivity on that one. A little bit more like an actual inking brush. Now, I do not fancy myself as the best, most creative, or most talented artist there is, but I am wanting to stretch and grow and learn and challenge myself. So that is very much of the reason for me starting to live stream my art. I want to set myself a timer and about an hour to see what I can do. Now I will continue this. Maybe not nightly, but hopefully at least weekly. Let's go ahead and give him a monocle, and we'll put it on the far eye. Haha. What I do declare, prophets are arisen. My ultimate goal, I think, would be to create movies. I don't necessarily care what studio that might be at. Long time ago in college, this would have been 5 years ago, I think. Nope. I graduated college much longer than that. I graduated college. Geez. That was 2016, so 7 years ago. Sorry. ADD, math, art. They do not always allow space for each other. Let's see, I'm going to give him a collar right there. This guy must be from the South, not just the deep South. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, okay. It's coming together. I do not like that. I'm going to be maybe a little bit less precise on some of these, because if I'm sticking with my goal, which was not necessarily super communicated, I only have about 15 minutes left. So, and I would like to dabble a little bit in color. My lines are super shaky. But hey, that's what practice is all about, right? One of these days I'm going to be on the Fin Talk Fantastic Friday Fin Talk. So, I've got to practice. One of these days. Sometimes I get really overzealous with friendships. And I don't know if that's, an ADHD thing. If somebody out there has ADHD, please let me know. Normalize this, but I get so excited when somebody is excited to be my friend. And not in a weird way. But I'm just like, oh, sweet. This and this and this is going on. So I want to know as much as I can about a person, learn who they are, and, just become invested in them. And again, not in a weird way. I never do this creepily. I do have at least that much awareness. Not to do things in a creepy way. But I love getting to know people. I think people are so interesting. It's part of the reason that I'm going to be doing this and, working to bring some content to people, bring awareness to who other artists are, and you're just wanting to get to know people. So that's a big, big part of doing this. And then, just learning to appreciate art a little bit more, having a chance to practice art. Ooh. Okay, got about 10 minutes left. See if I can get some color on this bad boy. All right, so let's go ahead and do some colorizing. All right, no longer need my sketch layers. We're going to be flying through this. I'm going to paint this non-destructively. So let's separate our colors. I need to change the spacing on my brush too. There we go. That'll be a whole lot better. Definitely running with warmer colors already. Well, let's see here. I'm going to block in some of the larger areas, and then I'll come back through with a smaller brush to get those smaller ones. As far as equipment goes, I am drawing on a Huion Canvas 12. I absolutely love this thing. Would love to have a Wacom. Wacom, if you're out there listening, feel free to send one my way. Dream is the 24. Whew. Oh, buddy. It's a whole lot of machine right there. When I was in high school, I got a Wacom Bamboo. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But, I didn't take the time to use it as much. So did not have the opportunity to grow as much as a digital artist as I absolutely could have. So it's the reason for taking the time now. I'm not going to waste any more opportunities. If you are younger and wondering, is art worth pursuing? I'll put it this way. It's not worth being miserable doing something that probably pays more, pays better, etc. And being miserable, wishing that you had done what you wanted to. I will simply say that. So if it were up to me, if I could go back and tell my younger self the things I really, really wanted to hear, I would absolutely tell myself, practice, practice, practice the things that you want to do so that you have a choice to do them later on. I think younger me would listen. Was a good kid. Was valedictorian. Class of 24. And I did not have a 4.0. New Mexico didn't have, or at least our school didn't have anything above a 4.0, so you couldn't beat that. But I think it was like a 3.8 or a 3.92 or something like that. It was not a super high GPA for valedictorian, but considering the fact that I had ADHD, I did extremely well. No complaints at all about that. Super grateful that I was able to focus as much as I was able to. Trying to just order my layers a bit more. The darkness is kind of bleeding on these a bit. Don't think I'm going to hit my goal of a 1 hour draw specifically, but I'm moving at a pretty decent pace. This one will probably exceed the 1 hour, but that's fine. It's only midnight. This is not a Stark. Oh, it's a raspberry black. I may be lightening this up here in a bit, but I just want to get this colored in. So yeah, if I could go back and change a couple of things, if it didn't change me meeting my wife and having our son, I would change how I did high school, the focus that I would have put into art and the things that really would have taken me somewhere. I was a very talented animator, CG, but I didn't keep up with it. I'm still friends with my professors, and they paid me a lot of compliments, and not just because I was talking to them or whatever. I've heard some of the comments they've made about other students and everything, and they genuinely appreciated my work and the work that I focused really hard on doing. I was always going to do a good job. That was never a question or a doubt for me. I was going to do whatever I needed to be a successful artist. And now, after all of this time, I am finally putting in the work that I need to eventually, one day, do the things that I want to do. And I am excited about it. Give kind of a bluish tint on this shirt this guy's wearing. It's over the skin, but under the coat. This is where I gotta be careful with that right there, because that's still behind the head. Alright, let's go back to not that color. Here we go. Alright, color in the gold coin. Gold coin. Gold coin. And let's get some grays. Alright, let's go back to the coat layer. Turn on that, and I'm just gonna color it up a little bit. Let's go right here. Oh yeah, that still reads as black, but still shows a lot more detail in the color. So I am good with that. Whoops. Ah, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Turning on the alpha. Ah, whoops. I tend to do that. See, that's the color they are. Let's see. I'm going to go with the airbrush on this one. Now let's shade it in a bit. Alright, don't love that one right there. So let's just... Trying to get some shine on these. This pile bed of gold. Maybe RGB yellow might a little bit more of the effect I'm looking for. I'm not really a background sort of person typically, but trying to work on all the areas. Okay. Now I need the background. Actually, let's just go ahead and do all of that. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Right there. And we can still come in right here. Alright, and then I'll do a dark navy gradient, not a radial, linear. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, now. Okay, got that. Let's go to the palette. Want to get some of this right here. Realize I've been quiet for a minute. But yeah, if there's any questions, would love to hear from you. Wavy Him, thanks for the follow. If you're the one watching right now. Just doing some simple shading right here. Probably some closer up bits right there. I need to find out where my facial hair went. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it in again. That clearly did not stick. I'm not going to be incredibly picky over this. Coming up on 120. Not necessarily what I was expecting, but that's all right. Just add a little bit more color in here. A little patchwork right there. I think we're pretty much going to call that good for now. And of course, as soon as I say that, I come in to add something else. Alright, well, here is my MerMay 23 Old Money. Day 12, day 13, whatever that is. Let me lock that back in. Just do a slight bit of shading here. Open that. Tells me one more thing that I missed right there. I need to get that shirt. Let's see. We'll just put it on this layer right here. That's okay. I won't tell anybody if you don't. All right. Well, I believe that should do it for this episode of Draw and Talk. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being my friend. Look forward to doing a lot more of these with you, and until next time, I will see you and go draw. Have a great night.